By 1990, Valerie Bertinelli's glory days as a star of the hit TV sitcom One Day at a Time were long past, and she was trying to build a new career as a serious film actress. However, Valerie off-screen, much like the character she portrayed, was a woman constantly struggling against forces over which she had little control. Thanks to endless touring and near constant partying, Valerie's husband, rocker Eddie Van Halen, had developed a serious drinking problem.
It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, and then in other ways it's a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. But as long as we have the commitment and we want to be together and we love each other, I mean, we're going to stay together. I don't understand, couples who have been together for years and years and years and then break up. I mean, after you put so many years in and you've worked so hard at a relationship, what's to say you can't work any harder?
It was something that Valerie knew a lot about because her father was an alcoholic, and her mother has talked about the difficulty that she had dealing with that. And then, of course, she now ends up in a marriage where she's also struggling with somebody who has an alcohol and a drug addiction.
Everybody drank a lot. Everybody partied a lot. We stayed up very late. There was a thing, a tradition. The running phrase was Van Halen means never having to say you're sorry. Yet every morning we would be in the lobby at 7 a.m. Everybody would be up. The show the next night would be a great show. This was sort of a managed debauchery.
Eddie entered rehab more than once, and with the arrival of son Wolfgang in 1991, it seemed like he might stay sober. In an attempt to cope with his drinking and the strain it put on their marriage, Valerie began attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. It may have helped her to understand her husband's drinking problem, but all the stress and heartache continued to eat away at their marriage.
It took me a long time to take his problems out of my life because I made them so much a part of my life, nagging him, and my entire life was focused on his getting better. So I've just taken myself away from that, and it's taken me a long time to do that.
Through it all, Valerie continued to try to break into major motion pictures. And although good film roles never really materialized, there was always a place for her on the small screen.
Valerie was, of course, typecast as the quintessential American girl. She had this squeaky clean image, and it did make it hard for her to get some parts. But she decided to use her image to her advantage and go after roles in which she could capitalize on her girl-next-door appeal. For example, one of her first made-for-television movies was called The Princess and the Cabbie. And when she was promoting the movie, she bragged that there wasn't a single dirty word in it, there weren't any sex scenes, there was only one kiss. And I think that viewers really liked the fact that she was staying true to the person they had fallen in love with.
Valerie, while she was keeping busy, had a couple of more TV series. They didn't quite work out as well as One Day at a Time did, but she was working and managing to balance work and a home life and all the troubles with Eddie that went along with that. He was on tour a lot, so he wasn't around. Maybe that helped keep the marriage together.
She also found work when she appeared alongside pre-Friends Matthew Perry in the sitcom Sydney.
I don't have any flaws. What are my flaws? I don't have time to go into this now. I'll ask me later. I'll make you a list. A list? Don't get that? I know who it is.
Criticized for its weak writing and soft storylines, Sydney was canceled in its first season.
I was really happy with what we did. I wish we had had another chance to really explore and make it better than it was, because with a new show, it's very hard to really do everything perfectly. I mean, Cheers took, it's like 9 years now, and it's really on a roll. It's been on a roll for the last 4 or 5 years, but it took a couple years before it got that good. So we never got that chance to get that good.
Ready? And action.
Valerie's next role was again in comedy, when she was cast in the role of a young American working in a Paris coffee house.
Somebody wake me up! I'm in my own nightmare! Well, we were real optimistic after our first airing because we won our time slot. And then Dr. Quinn came on and she kind of took a bunch of the viewers. But now baseball's coming on, so we'll get the women viewers back. It's a tug right now. The optimism is hard to keep up, but it's not real hard because we're having such a wonderful time here. And we know that we're putting on really, really wonderful shows.
Café Americain had all the ingredients of a successful show, good writing and a charming cast. But Valerie's character didn't connect with audiences, and it was canceled after an 18-episode run in 1993.
Hollywood has a difficult time trying to put her into particular roles. She never grew up to be that like va-va-voom kind of sex kitten, but she continued to just be this adorable woman that we all watched grow up, and people, I think, struggled with trying to find a way to cast her.
She was actually up for roles in some pretty big movies like Footloose and The Big Chill, and she didn't get them. When she did get a role, she had to fight for it really hard.
Valerie was finding it hard to get movie roles. But with a son to bring up, she had to work. And there was always a place for her on television.
She had to go back to doing those roles in those cable movies. And it's sort of an easy way to work. She was working close to home. She could take care of her son. I don't think she missed the stardom of being on a hit TV show and having to show up to all the parties and go to the press tour and the constant interviews. I think she preferred choosing her schedule at her whim, being able to work when she wanted to, which allowed her, like I said, to take care of her son.
Italian women are terrific mothers. So giving her just being Italian, I knew right away she'd be a great mom. Absolutely.
I'm lucky that I can work for 3 months and then take the rest of the year off. And I like that. I love to work, but now that I have a baby, priorities change. He's my priority, my family. I'll always work because I'd miss it if I didn't, but my baby's more important.
In public, Valerie gave the impression she has found the delicate balance of success and happiness with her family and career. But behind the scenes, Valerie Bertinelli's marriage was slowly falling apart.